welcome to Blissful. My name is Jen, and I am a functional nutrition counselor. It actually took me a really long time to create this video for you, and just today I figured out why. It's because I feel guilty. I feel guilty because I view my journey as a simple one, and I definitely don't want that to come across wrong, but I'm actually confusing my health journey with the solution to my problem. The solution to my problem was so simple. When I look back on my journey, I just bundle it all under, oh my gosh, it wasn't that big of a deal. When in fact, if I look back at my entire journey, which began at 16 years old, and I look at all of those years that I dealt with all of those things, which I'll discuss in a minute, my journey wasn't easy. It was long and drawn out and completely unnecessary, but it's relatable. And I know a lot of you are dealing with the same thing. And my journey is what drove me to get into the functional medicine field. Let me just start at the beginning. So, 16 years old, I started developing loose bowels. I had stomach issues. My stomach would make noises. I would have flare-ups and I wouldn't know what triggered it. Being 16 years old, you don't even consider diet. I grew up in a standard American house. There was no nutritional education anywhere near where I grew up. No one in my family knew anything about it. Yeah, there were people who worked in the medical field, but holistic medicine is a completely different animal than standard American medical care. So I knew nothing of anything. And you go to the doctor and you tell the doctor what's going on, and they run labs, and guess what? Your labs are fine. You're just fine. And they send you on your way. You get no explanation, you get no relief, you get no solutions. And this was my life from the age of 16. I am now 48 years old. And part of my journey was being gassy, and this is embarrassing, but being afraid to fart in public because you don't know what's going to follow that fart. So you're holding in your gas, you're holding in any kind of bowel movement you're about to have, which is very, very unhealthy for you. Because of all of the uncertainty, you're limiting what you're eating. You're becoming afraid of food. I remember wishing almost on a daily basis that I could just live on a liquid diet. I no longer had foods I loved. I had foods I was afraid of and foods I felt safe with. And this is how my relationship with food went on for years. In my 30s, I got really, really sick, and I ended up going to a party, and a family member was very concerned because I was very underweight. I had lost a lot of weight. I was not able to keep anything down, and I was just existing. I was trying to do the best I could, because every time I went to the doctor, it was, you have IBS. There's nothing we can do for you. And I was like, okay, so I just found the very few foods I could eat, and I started developing deficiencies in other nutrients. I was not eating raw vegetables. Oh my gosh, you cannot eat raw vegetables with a stomach like mine because you will explode, literally. And so there was no kind of healthy eating. It was, I'm pretty sure I was eating a sugary yogurt with a sandwich and chips. That was my very safe meal to go to. And if I had a flare-up, it was soup. And I'm pretty sure I didn't eat the vegetables, I just ate the broth. So as I was saying, I got really, really sick. And I had gone to a party and I saw a loved one who was very concerned. And the loved one in my life worked for a doctor's office, a gastro doctor, believe it or not, a gastroenterologist who's a stomach doctor, begged me to go see him. And I was very, very leery about having anybody poking in my back door. So I was like, that's disgusting. I'm not going. I'll be fine. You know, I've been dealing with this since I was 16 years old, but I had honestly never been that sick before. And so I hesitantly agreed. The doctor was amazing, and I was told that I have microscopic colitis. It is a lesser known colitis. It's not ulcerative, which is like your intestines are Swiss cheese. But the doctor had told me to try a low FODMAP diet, because when I went to the doctor, I explained to him I'm not going on any kind of medication. I would like to treat this without medication because I don't want to be on that medication for the rest of my life, and I would like to heal and, you know, be okay. So he said try low FODMAP. So I did try the low FODMAP diet, and I saw huge improvements. Huge. But the low FODMAP diet is not a permanent solution. And he said also try going gluten-free. That may help. Well, I did go gluten-free. And I ended up being so excited at knowing what was wrong with me, and knowing that there was a possible solution and resolution for my issues, that I went on a gluten-free splurge. I bought every packaged piece of gluten-free anything that I could get my hands on. Mind you, I grew up eating Italian, so the majority of my diet contained gluten. Chicken parm, pizza. Oh my goodness. Like, it was exciting and it was tragic at the same time. I had to yet again learn how to eat all over again. But this time I had chosen to just choose anything that said gluten-free on it. And even some of that, you know, the frozen meals and everything that I was buying were causing digestive issues, just not as extreme as when I had been eating gluten. And I ate this way for a couple years. I was putting on weight. I all of a sudden developed edema from all the salt in the packaged foods. I was not feeling hot. I was not hot at all. I was exhausted all of the time. I had no energy. So I just took one set of symptoms for a new set of symptoms. And the internet is not helpful when you are going through this. Doctors are not helpful when you are going through this, because doctors say, we can't find anything in your blood work. You don't appear to be dying or having a disease, so pretty much we can't help you. On the internet, if you look up your symptoms, oh, you could have this disease, that disease, this disease. So there's no kind of middle ground for people who are experiencing symptoms but are not on the verge of disease. This is a huge issue, and there are so many people going through what I went through. Various symptoms, various issues, but not getting any help because there's no actual disease. So it's actually preventative care. Symptoms are your body's way of telling you something's going on, something's not right, something is not balanced. And it's not quite so bad that we are at disease level. But you're on your way there. If you keep doing what you're doing without finding out what's going on, after a while, it turns into disease. And it's just an awful, awful spiral of a situation. It's absolutely horrific. So after going gluten-free and after realizing packaged gluten-free products were not the answer, I turned to whole foods and I started feeling better, and my symptoms started going down and minimizing. And I pretty much got that under control once I had switched from the packaged products to the whole foods. So, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, from the age of 16 to say 40 years old, that's a long time. And that was a very long, drawn out, unnecessary journey for me to find out that I should not be eating gluten. And I think that's why when I think back on it, I feel guilty, because I'm like, oh yeah, all that suffering just because of gluten. But it's been 5 years since I've shown any symptoms, and I'm so, so grateful. But it was a long journey, and although my solution was just one thing, it was just gluten, all of the suffering, all of the doctor's visits, all of the feelings of, being the only one who's going through this, doctors not listening to me, and I did not feel heard. I did not feel seen. And it was rough. It was absolutely rough time. And I'm so grateful that I am better. And it really, because it's been 5 years, it took me quite a bit to actually revisit that part of my journey, because I didn't want to think about it anymore. So when I think about it, in my mind, it's just, it was so simple. It was just gluten. But no, it was everything that led up to that. So that brings me to today. Today, I deal with different medical issues. And I'm borderline lupus diagnosis. And that's something I've been fighting tooth and nail to claw far, far away from, because I'm not officially diagnosed. I did get the ADVISE test, and it did show that, as my doctor said, my rheumatologist said, you are on your way to getting lupus. And this is how doctors should test you and should treat you. They shouldn't say, oh, your blood tests look fine. If you actually looked into the standard blood tests, the values that they say are within range are just barely above having a disease. They are not optimal levels of health and wellness. They are, you don't have a disease. They're not, you're not well, you're not sick. They're, you don't have a disease levels of your blood work. So they're honestly just checking for disease. If you don't have a disease or close to getting one, you have no idea, according to the doctor actually has no idea your actual health and wellness situation. He just knows you're not sick. He just knows you don't have a disease. But that is not the way to live. And everyone is different. Absolutely everyone biologically is different. Some people need more vitamin D, some people need less vitamin D, yada, 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 with all the vitamins and nutrients and all of that. But if you have symptoms, then you need somebody to go to tell you, oh, we see you, we hear you, let's find out what's going on. And that is where functional medicine and holistic health come in. Practitioners, I consider myself a practitioner. Even though I'm just a counselor, I'm still a practitioner. I practice functional medicine. I practice every day on myself. I try and help as many people as I possibly can because of my journey, because I know what it's what it's like to be in that gray area where you are not sick and you are not well. I'm currently here fighting and clawing my way back to optimal health, which, if I think about it, I've never been optimally healthy. I'm actually in the best health that I've been in since, I'm pretty sure I was a toddler, but it's still not optimal. It's not where I want to be. And I have a health goal that I want to be optimally healthy to the best of my ability. And I have the tools and now the education to get myself there. And so I hope that all of you who resonate with this video will join me on this journey. Not really sure exactly what this channel will entail, but it will be everything blissful. It will be everything holistically blissful, how to get there, why you aren't, things you can try, recipes, herbs, meanings of things, explanations, reasons. So I really hope that you will join me on my journey. I hope that you can take away some of the information that I give you and apply it into your own life. Because it could be something simple, just like gluten. If I could have those 30 years back. So again, welcome to my channel, and I hope to see you soon.